For a long time,
Yeah.
some of us have been trying to find out and milk this information from you, but we kept on saying, no, Shaba, wait, the time will come. This is the time. Just tell us about this, I'm going to say beautiful schools program, the PMSS. What is it that it brings, and how does it differ from all the other programs that are there? I mean, in terms of the local, the normal academies that do something that has to do with football.
Well, Shaba, you can never say there is nothing better when you haven't fully researched what we have in the country. And you must know some people might be doing much better than what we think we are doing, but they are not exposed, or we don't know about them. What's important is I guess you also know, if you guys have got children who are playing football, or brothers, or anybody, you've been in the schools and in competitions of where children compete, I think sometimes you'd like to have a program better, to be run better. My son, who's playing football and also plays basketball, is the one that really motivated me to say, do you want to be complaining about development of football? What are you doing about it? Meaning asking myself, what am I personally doing about it? Or am I joining the crew, or am I joining everybody who's been complaining about the development of the game? So I said to myself, you have to come up with something, go to do something. And coming up with something is not about thinking of what to come up with. You must be realistic and say, if you're going to do football development, which is what I know, and all this, to be honest, for me, is me as a coach having players to say, this player is very good, but had he had this a little bit, had he had this, could have been a better. Sometimes you want to take this and this and this out of 3-4 players and put them together, and then you have a product that can be a product or I don't want to say Bafana, because Bafana we always have players for fun, but a fully product that can represent us internationally, and not once, but for a very long time. And I think a very good example is Steven Pienaar, Benny, and probably Sean Bartlett also, to be honest. They've done well. So, but what happened? We had a player in Fenerbahce, we had a player at Fulham, we had a player at Ajax Amsterdam, we had a player at Blackburn Rovers, we had a player at Lazio, we had a player at Spurs. I mean, what happened? So this is my challenge to say, what can we do better to have a player that qualifies to be in that level? So what do? You research where they lack. This one is good at this one was lacking, this one was good at this. So if you really check, it's really a developmental program. We don't develop them the proper way. Let's be honest. Look at Sports School of Excellence, which we can never say that is the best of the best, but for me it's the best because it has produced Bafana players. I mean, we can mention even Steven Pienaar is from there. We can mention all these players who come from the Sports School of Excellence. So it means if you follow the same path, you're bound to get the right thing. So how do we make it better? So that's how that's how I came up to this program. And then I said, how do they develop players in Europe? What is it that they're doing? And then I realized, okay, there's age-appropriate training, there's football-specific training, there's even the size of the ball from age development, the size of the pitch, the training duration. What do you focus on? You can't put everything on a 7-8-year-old and then you say you're thinking is right because you're the coach and because the parents don't know what you're doing and everybody says maybe it's okay. So that is the whole thing that I came up with, and I hope one day I will have a situation where I have those ones that I think they are talented, like what Sports School Excellence is doing. Those ones who I think they are talented, and put them in a special program, but also don't forget about the late developers. And don't forget about those children who are in the rurals that nobody sees. that we don't look at, that the child doesn't have a chance to come to places where they can be seen. If you look at the documentary of Sadio Mane, you'll understand that people who are outside had to really fight so hard to get the opportunity. So that is what made us to come to where we are. I hope I've answered you.
Coach, you spoke about the same path, and there's a lot of talk about maybe the PSL and SAFA not being on the same path. Do you feel that an initiative like this can bridge the gap of being on, one track of how we're going to develop our sport?
Yes, of course. Danny Jordan knows about the program. That's why the SAFA technical director is here with us, because we are working with them. Our program is aligned to them, and they saw what we're doing, what we're supposed to do, how we do it, and we are supporting them. Okay, they're supporting us also, to be honest, because we get the coaches from KEF SAFA D license. SAFA develop those coaches, but when they come to us, they go into my other program of now specializing in those things that I've been mentioning them. How do we do that? How do you train? How to do that? So we're going in the same. We are aligned. This is not something that is on the other side. We are alignment. In fact, we are enhancing the program. And by the way, all the children are at school, even at the villages. All the children are at school, but not all the children are at a certain club, because maybe the parents cannot afford to take him to training and bring him back. But at school, we are all there. So that's the best place to be.
Coach, I'm looking at this program. Would you say
you don't want to give another one chance?
Coach,
Shabas, yeah.
Coach, apart from the D license and the police clearance,
and Wamaka.
Yeah, and that's
Wamaka.
And Wamaka.
Yeah, children's safety. Yeah.
Which criteria was crucial in selecting the specific coaches that you guys have selected for this program?
Okay, that's Augustinus Magalhães' job. So what we did is we said we need, for example, 20 coaches, and you have to have 1, 2, 3, 4. Those principles you spoke about, the Wamaka, KEF, SAFA, KEF, all those things. Once you have that, you're coming into the fold. Okay? And then in the area that you are working, you can't get somebody from Pretoria to come and work in Gauteng South. It's not possible. So then we identify the program where you can be, where you're coming from, where you can be. And then we check you. We put them on we have our own coach education program where they all sit down there and check the PMSS. You'll see them sitting there talking to them, and then they're being assessed by Coach Augustine Makalakalan. Who's good, who's not, who can be, who's ready, who needs what, and who understands the principles and the philosophy of football development program. And then from there we select, and then we put those ones there. There's always others waiting or falling off, but you can't bite more than we chew. I hope I've answered you.
Okay, so Coach, still on the football matters, Pesitao won the Champions League again, obviously your product.
Yeah, we're moving away from PMSS now, eh?
I think. Okay.
Let's cover PMSS. Yeah. I know what you want. You'll get what you want. Don't stress.
Okay, I think before, while we are still on the PMSS, because it links with the question that Lawrence asked. In South Africa, mostly you've got instructors in this KEF license who haven't been in football for quite some time.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned it when we had an interview recently that the people who are teaching, where they're coaching. Is it something that contributes to where the development isn't going in the right way, where we don't have coaches who are active? Because you hardly ever have a Chiefs Pirates coach or whatever. I don't know if you've been there where you were invited to come instruct or even workshop at this, coaching licenses, because that's where even you are taking the coaches from.
I want to answer you in a different way. If I was a technician or an engineer that was working with the Nokia phone and Ericsson phone, you remember those phones? Do you think I'm capable now to do iPhone 13, Samsung, what, and what? Because now we have smartphones, smart TV, smart cars. So you have to keep up with the trends. So to answer your question, Maskep, it's not that you were there before, then you need to be there. You need to be part of the program. You need to be part of the program. Football changes. Football evolves. The coaching that I used to do when I entered Mamelodi Sundowns is not the same. If you look at the program that I had, sometimes we laugh at it. You say, oh, this is what we did. Only this one, chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, we're on chapter 25 now. So things change, football change. So you cannot say, even teaching, curriculum changes. So you can't say that I was very good or I was doing this before. No, you got to keep up with the match, you got to keep up with the games. That's why there's all these technical directors meeting, Walter will tell you. They meet all the time, they talk about the modern trends, the game changes, even the physical trainers. You can't be that physical trainer who was doing squat jumps and what that time, and then you want to give us that now. No, now we counter press, we regain the ball, we press from the top and all those things. And you know the languages that our modern coaches that like to use, half space, what, they sound good. You know what I'm You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you need to be able to deal with things like that. That's why you see many coaches, they have a very good technical team around, because you can't do everything and you cannot be a master of everything. And you know, when you say when you want to do everything, become master of nothing. You know what I'm trying to say. So you cannot be saying I only do that. You guys now, these things were never there before. You're never doing interview with these things. Now you've got it. So it's the same thing.
So is it advisable for, say, SAFA in their coaching course to bring coaches that are currently in the game, even if not to be the main instructors, but also to just workshop? Because if you've got people who are coming outside, maybe redundant, outdated.
Yeah, but I don't want to be answering a question on behalf of SAFA.
No, on behalf of SAFA.
Walter was here. So, but what I would say to you, I agree with you. It's important to have the right people at the right time, at the right place. There's been a lot of journalists that we know before. You cannot put them now here. And we know them, we respect them, they've done well, they've written top stories about Njomana and Ace, Ntswelenga and all that. Hey, it's a different story now, Maskep.
Coach, still on PMSS before we move away.
Yeah, I hope I answered you, Maskep. You want me to say yes, SAFA must do that? No, Maskep. Okay. Protect me.
You said that, Coach, when you were taking up the job at your previous club, you spoke about this. You said that you won't be doing favors for any of your former players.
I've got 2 previous clubs.
Your last previous club.
The last one?
Yeah. Al-Ahly. Before you...
Al-Ahly.
When you were there at BMW, you said you won't be doing any favors for any of your former players. They need to go through the appropriate channels and they need to get appropriate qualifications.
Yes.
We see Klo Molekwane in the program. Is there more steps taken towards having like former players? Is there interest from former players in coming into the program?
Yeah, but sometimes you must understand Spanner Klo is running his own academy in Polokwane. He's doing what Maskep is doing. He's got his people who are doing the program. Okay? He also at PMSS. Why not? Let the guy work. And also let him get what we do in PMSS and he can implement it in his academy. Because I can guarantee they don't have the book we have. That's for sure. Okay? Because he's still learning from us. I mean, that's a fact. So let him learn and let him go implement in the people. And it's not about money. It's about knowledge. It's about education. It's not about money. So I don't know about a former player, what does he want? Okay? We are at the schools. When we are at the schools, we don't have a 5 million grant to be paying you the money that you wanted, that you were playing for. No, we don't do that. We are at school. Otherwise, now, what should we tell to the children at the school? Must pay 5,000 rand per training session? No. We are not. That's not the market for us. We need to talk about realities. If you want to come and work at PMSS, if you're looking for big payouts, no, you're in the wrong space. But if you say, oh, I'm a football coach, I'm Chloe, and I want to do that, I think maybe one day I'm going to be the head coach of MDC, what do you call it, DDC now. I'm going to be the head coach of DDC. I take this step like this, as we grow. You guys, a lot of you have seen you grow, and a lot of you have seen me grow. So we come up like this, and then one day I want to be the head coach of Polokwane City. Why not? So it's a platform for him to use and to take, rather than sitting at home. You're sitting at home, what are you doing? And you know what's going to happen when you're sitting at home. You know the stories.
Bridging course.
Thank you. Congratulations, first of all. Talking about sitting at home, I met a coach here who said he was sitting at home somewhere in Durban, and he saw about the PMMS thing, he heard about it on radio, and he applied.
Yes.
And today he says he's coaching at Northern in Polokwane.
Yes,
and
that's a top school, that Northern School.
And
that's one of our flagship schools.
Yeah. And he says that he's earning a living there. And I was like, wow, maybe this is one of the things that coach wanted to change. And his name is Wayabuso. Tell me about that aspect of giving opportunities not only to players but to coaches.
If you come if you do in coaching, you come to coaching, and if you are with PMSS, of course, we will give you the education. You'll come out better, and we don't shake your hand and say thank you for coming and go. We have to remunerate you, of course, for the hours and the time you came with. But look at the bigger picture, grow from it, learn from it, and become a better person. And use what you got as a stepping stone to say, I started there. I'm happy with you when you do that.